Dear viewers, today I'll be changing the oil and the oil filter on my BMW R1100R. It's a very simple process and I'll quickly go through the things I'll be using. So first you'll need an Allen key to take out the oil drain nut and also put it back. So that's an 8mm Allen key. The second thing you'll be needing is the special tool to get the oil filter out. Now without this tool it's extremely difficult to get the filter out. The reason is the filter is hidden inside this housing and you actually need that tool to put it in there and sort of, there you go, and wrench the filter out. Hence you do need this special tool. And then I've got the oil filter, and finally I've got engine oil. Now as you will see, it's a car oil, it's not motorcycle oil. The reason is the R1100R has a dry clutch system, so the clutch and the gearbox are separate from the engine. Hence the gearbox and the shaft uses gear oil. The clutch is dry and it rotates transversely like a car, and the engine oil only lubricates the engine, nothing else. Hence you can use car oil. In most motorcycles you need proper motorcycle oil, but on BMW R1100R, R1200R as well, until I think 2013, R1200 GS as well, you can use car oil to change the engine oil. The first thing I'll be doing now is I'll be draining the oil. Also I've got this wrench. This is simply to grab onto this oil filter wrench. I don't have a socket that fits in here. So the first step I'll be doing is draining the engine oil. That's the drain nut there, and as you can see, 8mm fits perfectly. Just came back from a ride, hence the oil is really hot. The oil is around 9,500 kilometers old, and hence you can see it's really black. That's the drain nut there, and the oil is really hot as well. I should have been wearing gloves, which I'm not. Needs around 3.8 liters of oil. So that's the filter, oil filter remover. So I'll put that in, and I'll be using this wrench to take the oil filter out. As you can see, the oil drained out and the oil check window is showing empty. Now the oil filter is coming out. As I said, the oil is really hot, as I just rode the bike for an hour. So I'm slowly turning it. The filter is now out. Now one thing you have to make sure is that you get that rubber gasket out. Sometimes this rubber gasket will sort of stay inside there, and this will mess up your work, because when you put the new filter in, the old rubber gasket will be sort of blocking the new one and you won't get a proper seal. So make sure that you get the seal out, even if it's stuck inside. There's a lot of oil inside the filter as well. Now when I put the new filter in, what I'll do is I'll get the filter out, I'll fill it up with fresh oil from there, and then I'll sort of bolt it in. Now when you plug the new filter in, make sure it's not too tight, because if you tighten it too much, there is a chance that you'll strip the thread, and then that'll be a mess. So that's the old filter there. Now that the filter and the oil drain nut both are out, what I'll do is, and as you can see, there is no oil in the engine, I'll start the engine up for 3 to 4 seconds only. What that'll do is that'll create pressure inside the engine, and it'll pump out a bit more oil. You'll see now it is controversial, and you shouldn't be running your engine without any oil, but I'll only do that for, as I said, 3 to 5 seconds, not even 5, 3 to 4 seconds. One, two, three, four. And as you can see, there's just more oil coming out, and that's it. I won't run the engine anymore. So once that oil drains out, what I'll do is I'll put the new filter in, close the put the drain nut back, and then basically fill it up with oil. So before I start putting things back on, I'll clean everything with a bit of degreaser. Now I couldn't find the right size copper washer, so I'll be using the old one. As I said, the old one is fine, nothing really happened to it. So I'll just clean it up properly with the degreaser. If you don't have degreaser, you can do it with petrol as well. And also clean the bottom of the engine properly, and wipe it up with the dirty cloth. Now that's the new oil filter. What I'll do now is I'll fill it up with a bit of oil, and also I'll put some oil around the gasket here as well. So I've filled up the oil filter with fresh oil there. The next step is to put it in the oil filter wrench thing, and basically put it inside and start just screwing it in. Now just keep in mind that this is this circle you see in the middle, that's the bit that'll be screwing into the engine. We'll be screwing it in just in there. There you go. And once I'm satisfied with the tightness, the next step will be basically using the wrench and slightly tighten it a bit more, not too much. Never over tight your oil filter. So still hand tightening it. That's as far as I can go with hand. The next step is putting the wrench and just tighten it up a little bit more. As you can see, there's still oil dropping, and that's still from the oil drain nut. So I'm tightening it up with the wrench now. Just when working from the underneath the engine, just remember lefty loosey, righty tighty, hands. So right, so that's tightening it up. Again, don't tighten it too much. I'll be tightening it up a little bit more. Remember, there is a rubber gasket that we are squeezing. That's about it. My drain nut, the oil filter remover thing got stuck in there, so I just had to get a nose plug and pull it out. That's out now. I'll show you where the oil filter is. So there you go, that's the new filter. The next step will be putting in the oil drain plug where it was. That's just there, Again, before I put it in, I'll be cleaning up the whole area with you can use WD-40 as well, but I'll be using degreaser. Just make sure it's all nice and clean. I'll wipe it up now. So I'm putting the drain nut back in, and then now I'll be starting it up with the Allen key. Again, don't over tighten it. I'm just tightening the oil drain nut with an Allen key. Now the drain nut is in, I'll just hand tighten it. Again, not too much. Now the drain nut is back where it should be. The oil filter is in there. The last step is to now fill it up with engine oil. We'll be filling precisely 3.8 liters of oil. Now if you don't replace the oil filter, you need around 3.5, but I always recommend changing the oil filter every time you change oil. The oil change interval is 10,000 kilometers. Now the final bit, that is filling it up with oil. That's the oil filler cap. Remove the cap and just fill it up. Now I'm getting 20W50 because of the temperature we have here. Depending on the temperature, you'll either need 10W40 or 20W50. Just check your user manual. According to my user manual, that's the recommended grade for the temperature we have here. Now after filling it up, I'll be taking it out for a ride. I'll ride and I'll come back, park the bike for 10 minutes, and then I'll recheck the oil level, and I'll just add oil if I need to. As you fill it up, just keep an eye on the oil check window down there. So I'm still filling up. I'm nearly just above the top, so this is where I'll stop. And as I said, I'll put everything back now and I'll take it for a ride. I'll come back and then recheck the oil level. Just keep in mind though, before you recheck the oil level, you have to leave the bike on your central stand for 10 minutes. The reason for that is as you start up the engine, the oil pumps oil everywhere, so you have to give it like at least 10 minutes for the oil to settle down to the sump. So I'll take it for a ride now, come back, recheck the oil level. I'll add a bit more if I need to. Thank you so much, guys. Take care.